So guys, I got a bit of a problem. I think I'm addicted to fish again. So I decided that this small terrarium rack that I had started up here was actually going to be better just to be used as a fish rack. And I thought I'd put my Exoterras up on top of one of the actual Exoterra racks that I have. Something that I wanted to do with this whole rack is actually use some lights really suspended above where the actual aquariums are, so I can actually grow some plants such as pothos and philodendrons and all sorts of stuff growing out of the top of the water. To do this, I actually ended up mounting some T5 units above most of these aquariums. The bottom tank that you'll see later on in the video actually has a freshwater prime HD above it. The actual light tube that's going inside of these T5 units, so I'm actually using a 6500 Kelvin plant grow light essentially. And the reason that I'm using this is not only is it the right spectrum to really punch out some decent light and grow some plants, but I'm going to be doing a lot of floating plants that I want to reproduce and reproduce quite quickly into a high quality. I use this aquarium as a bit of a guide as to a rough height where most of these aquariums might come to. This rack's going to consist of some pretty small aquariums, nothing too substantial, but they're going to range from about 12 litres up to about 80 odd litres. Here I'm just attaching another T5 unit to one of the shelves. It is a fair bit easier to be able to do this when they're actually not got an aquarium on top of them, and you can also really test out how far the screws need to go into the actual wood so then they're not punching through and potentially into the bottom of an aquarium. Changing the shelf height on these racks is pretty easy just using a rubber mallet, and as long as you get it right the first time, it doesn't take you too long. I want all of these aquariums to have a uniform black backing on them. This is just going to really add to that blackwater appeal in my opinion. So the best way to do this is just using a vinyl wrap essentially, and for this aquarium in particular I pretty much just drained it down to about a quarter of the water, turned it around and did it in place. This just kind of saved me draining it all out and getting rid of the fish out of the tank and mucking around with it, and I saved all of the water so I could put it back inside of the aquarium too without disturbing the water quality too much. Using a watering can to put the water back in was a really smart idea in my opinion. It just makes pouring into a little aquarium like this, and especially if you don't want any disturbance, it just makes it super easy. You can't have an Amazon-based blackwater aquarium without an Amazon sword. One of my favourite things to do in freshwater aquariums is actually grow plants immersed out of the top of the aquarium. And easy ones to do are things like pothos and some of the monstera and stuff that are out there. And the best way to do it is just to shove part of their node, or the cut off end of their node, into the actual water itself, and within weeks you're going to have a whole ton of roots that are going into that water system. And it's a nice way to be able to keep these plants nice and healthy too, because you never have to worry about watering them because they've got good access to good nutrients and good water. Something that I've always had a real intrigue in is biotope fish tanks, and as you guys know, I do work at high-tech aquariums, which of course I have all these brilliant fish looking at me day in, day out, and it does my head in. So I did end up picking up a pair of apistogrammas for really cheap, Apistogramma cacatoides, and I love having them set up in this natural looking tank. So I thought, you know, what the hell, we're just going to dedicate this space to having some fish. So as you can see, this tank's absolutely looking fantastic up here, and there's my male apisto right at the front there. Absolutely love these Amazonian fish. I get a real kick out of this sort of stuff, and as I've said, you know, any of these kind of fish that are a little bit more exotic, they're right up my alley. I love my natives as well. Oh, there's the female coming over the back there. But in saying that, you know, this is the one thing that I can kind of have some exotic species and get a bit of a kick out of it, and I absolutely love that. Down here you can see my old little sparkling gourami tank. This thing definitely needs some love. You can see they're having a little bit of a spa there as well. Always chasing each other around. I might need to get a few more fish in there, a few more dither fish, maybe some maculata rasporas or something of the likes. But yeah, this is a cool little tank. I am going to redo this. Probably do a little video on this. I'm not 100% sure just yet, but if you see a video coming out, then you may be knowing why. You better settle down, Grumpy. Beautiful little fish though. So the leafies going up there, you know, this isn't a forever plan. It's okay if they stay up there. It doesn't bother me so much. It kind of really rounds out that wall nicely with the incubator and everything up there. But I might be doing something a little bit different with a few species of leaf tails. I'm not pulling the trigger on it just yet, but you may see that in the future. But yeah, might be doing something a little bit different with those guys. And, you know, everything's coming along. I think something that is definitely on the cards soon is I'm going to be probably doing a new tank for some gillons that'll span these two tanks here and get rid of this Sumed tank. Not the biggest fan of the locking mechanism on that. You can see these cheeky little buggers running around all over the place. Absolutely love these lizards. I need to fix these things here as well. I need to get some core fluid into these ASAP, just so then I don't have all this glare kind of beating back at us. Yeah, see how much more light that would kill as well. So that's probably going to do it for this video, guys. As you can see, there have been a few other changes to this Blackwater aquarium rack. I do have a few other fish in there, and I've also got some fry already out of the Apistogramma cacatoide pairs up the top. I'll put a little overlay of a clip of some of the fry over now. So far as well, I've got some of Loki's fish out of his fish tank down here currently. They will be moving into Loki's fish tank once I get his big enclosure and everything set up here. But I'm really looking forward to doing this little project. It's a little bit of a side project, lots of floating plants. I'm going to do lots of sort of like, you know, aroids and pothos and maybe even some bromeliads and things, just kind of like all scattered around the tops of these fish tanks as well. I do need to fix up the light for that one. I need a different power cord, so I'll sort that out. And what else is there to update on? Because it's been a couple of weeks since I've started sort of filming this. I've got a few tanks sort of cycling and going away, like I just put this one together today. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this as a little project, and, you know, enjoying some plants and stuff like that as well that I, you know, aren't Australian natives, but stuff that I actually enjoy. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for more of this, because there's going to be a fair bit of this to come. I'm going to be trying to breed a few different fish, you know, reproduce some plants and stuff like that. Alright guys, so without any further ado, make sure to check out Teespring, Patreon, make sure to check out Facebook and Instagram as well, and I'll catch you guys all on the next video. Take it easy.